Everybody, it's Rachel, and I just wanted to show you how you can use Google Forms as a formative assessment or a quick exit ticket, some type of quiz, and also how to link it to your Google Classroom. So when you're in your Drive, I'm just going to come over to New and pull down to More and over to Google Forms. And this arrow that's right here, there are some templates, not for Stonington schools yet. You're welcome to upload one, but there are some general education ones, exit tickets, assessments, and you can work with those and change them as you wish. Over in our Stonington schools site, there aren't any here yet. You're welcome to upload one if you have one that you'd like to use as a grade level or as a building or whatever that would be, and you just click Submit Template and go select the form, and then it would be here for you to use and then to change to your needs. So I'm just going to start a new one. So I'm going to go back to Drive, show that again. So under New, over to More, and then to Google Forms. So once you're in Google Forms, there's a first few things. I'm going to call this, the first thing I like to do is give it a name. So I'm making this a capital quiz. And you can automatically change. I also like to change. You can change the color, or there are some pictures that are here, so you can do that as well. And you can give the form a description if you would like. But the beautiful thing that makes this just changes it from a form to a quiz is up here under the gear. If you go under the settings, and under settings now there's this one called quizzes. And if you choose quizzes and if you make it a quiz, you can see your choices that are here. So right now, the default is that the grades are automatically released after the submission, or later after if you want to review them. You can also see missed questions. You can see they can see what the correct answers would be to those questions, and they can see the point values. You can change any of that you'd like. This is all under the gear. The other thing going just backwards, though, is under the presentation tool, just to show there's a progress bar. So if you wanted the kids to be able to see how far they were along in the quiz, you could do that. You can shuffle the question order here. And there's another link to submit another response, which, of course, you don't have to. You could have it just be one if you'd like. And then under General, I would like it to collect their email response. And they could limit it to just one response if you wanted. I'm not going to do that. And they can also edit. Right now, they cannot edit it after they respond it. But you could if you'd like them, if they thought of something else where they could go back and look at it again. Or if you wanted to do the summary charts and the text responses, they could see that as well. I'm going to leave all those off. So then double check my quizzes. And I like that, so I'm going to click Save. So on my form here, I'm going to do Kappa Quiz. So this is a multiple choice question. It kind of defaults to that. So I'm going to ask, what is the capital of Connecticut? And I'm going to give Hartford and, I'm going to give Hartford and Stonington. Now, the key to making this a quiz is that you have to tell it what the right answer is. So now underneath here, because I told it under the gear that it was a quiz, now I have to give it the answer. So under the answer key, I'm going to choose the correct answer, and I'm going to assign it a point value. And that is pretty much done. That's the correct answer. So I'm going back to edit the question. So that's now an official answer, and I know what the correct answer is. Underneath here, I could duplicate that. So I'm going to duplicate that because I'm going to change my city. I wouldn't have to. Because if I come up here now and make this Rhode Island, and I would just change these now if I want to make this like Westerly and Providence. I'm going to change my correct answer on this. So when I go back to the answer key, now I'm going to change it to the correct answer. I'm going to go back to editing the question. And so that was the duplicate question. There's the delete the question. I can make this a required question, And then under these ellipses that are here, or the 3 dots, I can also add a description. And if I were going to have them like jump around, like if you say, okay, so if you answered yes to this question, then you can skip to question 7, then I could skip to a section based on a certain answer. And I can also shuffle the order of this question. I'm not going to choose those, but for my quiz right now, I'm going to say that this is pretty much done. I want to see what it looks like, so I'm going to preview it. So I'm going to give it a couple, I'm going to submit some answers here. I could take a look right away at my score as a student. And if I go back, I could submit another response. So I'm going to submit another response. I could view my score, or I could submit it. I'm going to do a third response just so you can see. And now when I go back as the teacher, I'm going to go to the edit mode. So when I come to the edit mode, now I see my quiz again, but now I have 3 responses. So I can click on that responses, and it'll help me to go through it. You can walk through it. I did a really bad job on this quiz, my 3 students here. But I can see, because this is all me, because it collected my email address. This is the second time I took it, in the third. So you can see what my score was when it was the score was released, because I said to release them right away. If I needed to edit their score, I could go into them individually by coming up under here, and I could look at the individual responses. So the first time that Arlen Baracus took this quiz, she got 2 out of 2. Good for her. The second time, though, she didn't do so great, and she got both of them wrong. Now, if I wanted to, if these were like half-point questions, like if it was, choose 2 out of 3, I could change the score by overwriting it here. Maybe I'd give her credit for that. I don't know why, but just in case I wanted to. Then I could either save it here, or else to give her the point value for it, and now her score would change. And I'll show you one other place that you could do that. And also when you're on, this is this time when Rachel took it, she got one right and 1 wrong. So if I go back to the summary of responses, I could release these scores again here, and then that gives it the edit scores, and they can send the emails and release the scores. So those are, and I can see the questions, so I can see the individual responses and how they did. But the summary always gives you a really great graph of those scores. So you can see how your students did just on a visual, quick basis. The other thing that's right over here is you can also create a spreadsheet with this data. So it would make a new spreadsheet, unless you wanted to title it, capital information, capital info, or whatever you wanted to call it. Or you could put it onto an existing spreadsheet, and if you create it, then it creates your spreadsheet, and it gives you all that data in a spreadsheet form, if that helps you out. And of course, when you have many more students and many more questions, you can also see a trend in this way if you don't want to use the graphs on the summary page. So when I come back to my data here, you could download the responses or you could print them from here. You could also delete all your responses if you already got that spreadsheet done, and maybe it's a new year and you're using the same quiz. That's how you could do it from here. So now if I'm ready to link that form to a class, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come up to, there's a couple different ways you can do it. The first way is to come up under send, and you could email all of these. You could email right from here. You can send a link to people, but I want to do it through Google Classroom. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to jump over to my class that I've chosen, and I want to assign it to this class. So I'm going to come down to my I'm going to create an assignment on the title. I'm going to call it Capital Quiz. I want it to give to all students, a no due date topic. You can still attach things to it. And now I want to go get the quiz. So it's in my Drive. So in Drive, it's right here. It's called the untitled form, and I'm going to add it. And that's I can enable the grade importing. So from the grades from Google Forms can come into Google Classroom, and I am going to assign it. I can also, over here, I can schedule it if I wanted to do it later, but I'm just going to go ahead and assign it. And so there's my quiz. So when a student comes into the class, they're going to click on their assignment, and it will, that's because I'm in the teaching mode, but once they click on that, it will go right to the quiz itself. So that's how you use Google Forms to make it a quiz, and then how you would link it into Google Classroom. So I hope you enjoy this tool. It's something that we have access to, and it's just part of our Google for Education's suite. So take care, and let me know if you need anything. Take care. Bye-bye.